Alright, this is probably the only comparison you need to watch between the latest top 3 budget devices, that is the Redmi Note 14 4G going for the price of 255,000 naira, the Samsung Galaxy A16 4G going for the price of 248,000 naira, and the Tecno Spark 30 Pro going for the price of 247,000 naira. Kicking things off with the accessories, on the Redmi Note 14 you get the bare minimum which is expected from them. Likewise, on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro you get a charging brick and a charging cable as well with a TPU case. Now, when it comes to Samsung, that is the Galaxy A16, you don't get anything. At this point, I might even say we are lucky to get a charging cable. It's literally just the box, cable, paperwork, and the phone. At this point, I think we are used to this. Regardless, when it comes to unboxing experience, I will award the points to the Redmi Note 14 and the Tecno Spark 30 Pro. Design is subjective, but there are some standard features on these devices which might appeal to one over the other. The Redmi Note 14 has this generic design at the back. There really isn't anything standout about it. Likewise, for the Samsung Galaxy A16, it has the same Samsung look we are all familiar with. It's on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro we actually see something nice, especially if you're a fan of Transformers. There is this Transformers edition of the Tecno Spark 30 Pro which looks unique. That said, there are the regular color options as well which doesn't look bad. Personally, if I am to pick, because I like minimalism, like I just like clean design, I will go for the one on the Samsung Galaxy A16, but I know that the design on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro, especially the Transformers edition version, is way better. I mean, it's a conversation starter at the very least. In terms of design, I will award the points to the Tecno Spark 30 Pro. Now, flipping these devices to their displays, there is immediately an odd one. It's so dumb to say. It's none other than the Samsung Galaxy A16, because tell me why you have a U-style notch on a 2024-2025 device. It's very ugly, especially when compared to what we have on the Redmi Note 14 and Tecno Spark 30 Pro. That said, when it comes to actual display specs, the Redmi Note 14 has a 6.67-inch 1080p AMOLED display with a refresh rate of 120Hz, Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protection, a peak brightness of 1800 nits, and always-on display functionality. While the Samsung Galaxy A16 has a slightly larger 6.7-inch 1080p AMOLED display with a refresh rate of 90Hz, no Corning Gorilla Glass protection, a peak brightness of about 800 nits, and absence of always-on display functionality. Whereas on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro, we get the largest display at 6.78 inches, 1080p resolution as well, and also an AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate, a peak brightness of 1700 nits, and always-on display functionality. Viewing content on these devices are very similar that frankly you will be satisfied with any of them, but let me state out their strengths. The fastest filling display is the one on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro with its 120Hz refresh rate, while the best color is the one on the Samsung Galaxy A16. Samsung just does it well when it comes to colors, while the Redmi Note 14 has the highest display brightness, especially when it comes to outdoor viewing. Also, the Samsung Galaxy A16 lacks a headphone jack and stereo speakers, which is honestly just disappointing, especially when it comes to the stereo speakers. I feel stereo speakers should be a standard on any smartphone that costs this much, or what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Anyways, moving on to performance, the Tecno Spark 30 Pro has a newer chipset, that is the MediaTek Helio G100, which performs slightly better than the MediaTek Helio G99 on the Redmi Note 14 and the Samsung Galaxy A16. Now, when it comes to the Redmi Note 14 compared to the Samsung Galaxy A16, although both devices have the same MediaTek Helio G99 chipset, the one on the Redmi Note 14 is the customized MediaTek Helio G99 Ultra. But don't let that fool you. The MediaTek Helio G99 Ultra compared to the MediaTek Helio G99, the regular one, is pretty much the same. I mean, the benchmark scores are on the same delta performance. The one advice I will give you is that regardless of which device you go for, do not get anything less than 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. You will thank me later. Gaming on these three devices are pretty much similar. They are not meant for gaming, but they can at least play titles like Call of Duty, Free Fire, Asphalt, and so on to an extent. Basically, these phones are just for social media and watching content. That's why they have really large batteries. A 5050 mAh battery on the Redmi Note 14, capable of 33 watts fast charging, which takes you from 0 to 100% in under 2 hours, while the Samsung Galaxy A16 has a smaller 5000 mAh battery capable of 25 watts fast charging. You will need to buy a charger separately though. I recommend this Oraimo 36 watt GAN charger, which I personally use. You can purchase it at a discount using my promo code Tdevelops on the Oraimo eShop website. Likewise, on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro, we get a 5000 mAh battery capable of 33 watts fast charging. Although bigger doesn't automatically mean better. When it comes to battery, the bigger it is and the more power efficient it is, the better it is. So when it comes to battery life and longevity, then the Redmi Note 14 is the best here. If you want the biggest battery and you want the longest battery performance, just get the Redmi Note 14. Software is a mixed bag between these devices. On the Redmi Note 14, you get a lot of features, but it has ads and bloatware. While on the Samsung Galaxy A16, you don't get ads and bloatware, but it lacks essential features like a native screen recorder, for example. That said, it is a stable software, plus Samsung also promised us 6 years of Android OS updates, which is frankly unbelievable. Now, the Tecno Spark 30 Pro has the perfect balance between ads, features, and stability. I would say it is the most complete software among these three devices just because it doesn't have any major stability concerns and it has a ton of features. But if you're like me and you can't stand ads, then the Samsung Galaxy A16 is the only option you can go for. You just have to live with the fact that you would be missing out on native features like a screen recorder, for example, which is still unbelievable. Like, why doesn't this device have a native screen recorder? But hey, there are workarounds to it, and you just know that you won't be getting some features like AI features on this phone. But hey, 6 years of Android OS updates is really enticing. However, if you don't mind ads and bloatware, then the Tecno or the Redmi is the one to get. They have several AI features and a bunch of nifty features you might like. Camera is another important metric when purchasing a device, and these devices have a bunch of them. The Redmi Note 14 housing a triple camera setup which includes a 108 megapixel main, 2 megapixel macro, and 2 megapixel depth, while the Samsung Galaxy A16 has a 50 megapixel main, 5 megapixel ultra wide, and 2 megapixel macro. And then the Tecno, with funnily enough just one functional camera, that is the 108 megapixel main camera. Here are some photo samples between these phones. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Personally, I think the Samsung Galaxy A16 has the most versatile camera setup because of the ultra wide camera it has. I mean, it can be useful in some scenarios. However, the Tecno Spark 30 Pro shoots the highest resolution videos at 2K resolution, that is 1440p, compared to 1080p on both the Redmi and Samsung. When it comes to selfie videos, you get 1080p on all three phones. The Redmi having the largest megapixel count at 20 megapixels, while the Samsung and Tecno share a 13 megapixel sensor. Securing the Redmi Note 14 is an under-display optical fingerprint scanner. Likewise, on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro, while the Samsung Galaxy A16 rocks a side-mounted fingerprint scanner. All three devices have face unlock in case you are into that. Also, the three devices have an IP54 splash and dust resistant rating, which is nice in case you get caught in the rain or something. That said, do not by any circumstances swim with them. Alright, so which of these three devices should you buy? Well, if you want the longest software support, then the Samsung Galaxy A16 is the one to go for. If you want the best value for money and best performance, I would say the Tecno Spark 30 Pro is the one to go for, especially if you can get the limited edition variant. While the Redmi Note 14 is just the awkward middle kid with a huge battery and no particular strength, but it does well in all categories. But yeah, let me know your own thoughts in the comments. Which would you go for? And yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.